Hello guys, this is Reza and this is the final part of our brand new series, Rigging Wings in Maya. In this tutorial, we are going to come up with a setup to automatically fold the wings using custom attribute. We are going to clean up and finalize our rig. I'm just going to select these handles. Now we have the custom attribute fully functional. We really don't need to see them right now. So I'm going to select all of them. Make sure not to select anything else but the handles, and I'm going to turn them off. Also, it would be a good time to go in here and select all the ORI locators, look ORI, select them and hide them as well. Make sure not to select the look drive, because that's exactly what we're going to use in a second. In a moment, we're going to use that to fold the wings. So please make sure not to select and hide them. Well, although you can always bring them back, you're not deleting them, but why do we need to select them and hide them if we need them right now? So I'm going to just select all the ORI ones and we are going to hide them as well. I think these are all the ones that we had. That is it. I'm going to go put 0 in their visibility. They're gone. Now we have 1, 2, and 3 lock drive C01, B01 and A01 to work with in order to make the fold happening. So here's the plan. We're going to create a custom attribute to fold the wings, and we're going to use set-driven key using these look drive locators in order to fold the wing. So let's start. I'm going to place it in wing A. You can place it anywhere that you want, but wing A makes sense. We're going to go to modify, add attribute, and I'm going to call that wing fold. It's keyable, 0 to 1. We don't want to leave it open-ended. Make it easier for the animator and press OK. Now remember, it's a two-step process. What we're doing right now, we're taking care of the top part, but the feathers are going to overlap and interpenetrate as soon as we do the fold. So don't be surprised even at your own geometry if that happens. We're gonna work on some layering system to rectify this issue and make it work. But for now, let's focus on the shape and the silhouette of the fold first, and then we get to the nitty-gritty of this fold mechanism. Now, in order to take things to the next level and make these wings and feathers look more visually appealing, we need to benefit from these bones. We need to make use of these bones and bring them into set-driven key tool. But the problem is we repurpose these bones enough, and we don't want to add keyframes on top of them. If you look at these bones, they already have keyframes on them, and we just don't want to introduce blending weights on each keyframe and each attribute. So we need to place them into a neat, clean folder and do whatever we want to do on that folder while this bone is within the group, safe, and with no harm. To do that, we can't just press Ctrl G on them. The problem is every time you create a group node, by default, the pivot will be set at the center of the group. You may say, well, why don't you go to the option box? And the answer is yes, we can go into group and we can turn off the preserve position. It's just a lot of manual work, not to mention once the group is made, we need to make sure that it's been renamed, and you need to do it for every single bone. Wouldn't that be nice to have a few lines of code and automate all of that in one go? Well, I guess we all agree that that's a much more efficient approach, not to mention that it's kind of give you a learning opportunity. If you're interested in Mel or Python, it gives you a far better exposure to what intermediate rigging looks like. So with that out of the way, let's go in here. I can use both Mel or Python. I'm going to this time use Python. Last time I used Mel. I showed you the Python equivalent, but this time I'm just going to use Python. I personally more comfortable with Python. I use Python in so many other software packages, whereas with Mel, you're a little bit restricted. So if you ask me, even if you want to learn Mel or Python, definitely go with Python because you can recycle that in other software packages. Okay, enough said. I'm just going to paste that line in here, and I just don't want to dump a bunch of codes and say hit run or execute. I really would like to show you guys what this does. I'm going to give myself a little bit of real estate to be able to explain what's going on. That should do it. Okay, we start with the easy bit. Import Maya CMDS as CMDS. Maya CMDS is Maya's command module for Python. You need to put that in. Almost every Maya Python script starts with this line. I know it's not a Python class, but I would love to explain it. So bear with me. Then as CMDS, it's just a short alias, so you don't have to type maya.cmds every single time. So that you pretty much rinse and repeat every single time you want to code in Python inside Autodesk Maya. Then we get to this line, cell cmds.ls. Well, this lists objects in the scene. ls means list that object that you're selecting in the scene. Selection true, it's equal to ls-sl in Mel, meaning that you just list your selection. That's all it does. Relative group, cmds.group. Now, relative group is what I want to use as a name. It is very important to know that what we're doing with this line is we're creating a group node and set the pivot to relative and give it a name. This is an arbitrary name. You can rename it to literally whatever you want, even your own name. Now we have the group and we have the selection. Then we move to the next line where the XForm takes place. Now CMDS XForm modifies transform related attributes. We want to set the object space to true. Object space in Mel, it's called OS, object space. We don't want to set the pivot to the world. We want to set the pivot to the local, and we coordinate the pivot here. 0, 0, 0 sets both rotation and scale pivot to the origin. The result is going to be the group's pivot is aligned to the joint's local origin. Remember, we want to obey the local pivot point. We want the group to follow the direction or local rotation axis of this bone. And that's why we need to make sure that the object space or the local space is true or enabled. In the final line, we have renaming, where we say, well, rename whatever you have here, whatever we created here, to, and again, this is optional. I called it SDK for set driven key group, and do it on the current selection. Selection 0 is the one that you're selecting right now. You can see it's not really that difficult once you understand how Python functions. It's actually quite cool, to be honest, to understand the code and understand the value of it and how much time you can save. I know I spent 10 minutes perhaps explaining it, but in long run, hopefully that's going to serve you and it's going to expedite your process. All right, let's put that into practice. Enough with that. I'm just going to drag and drop, bring that here as a Python. I can go in there and give it a name. So let's go all the way down and I'm going to label that GRP and put an R at the end for relative. So we know that it's a relative pivot for the group. Let's put that into a test. So I'm going to select my selection 0, remember the current selection. Look how the name changes here, because we now should have is a group wrapped around this bone and perfectly named. We don't need to worry about the pivot of the group. It's all sorted. So click, and the group has been made. Well, we don't see it because it's right here. If I press F, we should be able to find it. There you go. And it's properly named as well. How cool is that? So let's really quickly go through this. And that's the beauty of using codes every now and then. You kind of really speed up the process without even spending the time for boring and repetitive tasks. Yes, I could use these Python commands more often in this tutorial, but I understand that can be a little bit too overwhelming for some folks. So let's go through all of that. Yeah, perfect. All of them are named beautifully. Now, just like before, let's bring them into the node editor, bring them in order based on the order of these bones, so we can easily bring them into set-driven key tool. Kind of very similar to what we did with the previous set-driven key practice that we had. So thanks to the naming convention, we can easily look for them. So select by name, and I'm going to type in SDK for set-driven key, GRP, and asterisk. It's going to select all the group nodes. Yep, that is correct. Let's go into Windows, Node Editor, and I'm just going to have a look. Yeah, we still have the old ones. Let's select them. Do not press delete on them. Just remove selected nodes from graph. And this time I'm not going to bring the input and output or input. I'm going to bring the output only. So that brings exactly the group nodes that we just made. Hope that makes total sense. But let's have a look. SDK feather section 3 D1, B1, A1. So unfortunately, it's all over the place again, and I need to make sure to start with section 1 and then with section 2. So 2 is going to be here, 1 is going to be here, 2 here, 1 here. I'm going to spend a little bit of time and change the order. So the order should be similar to what we have here. So let's very quickly do that. Okay, that's the order that we want. So starting with section 1, A, B, C, D, then section 2, A, B, C, D, E, F, and section 3, A, B, C, D, E. Again, you may have more or fewer bones that you need to bring, at least in this particular example. These are the number of group nodes that I made based on the number of bones that I have here. So that should be all sorted. I'm going to select all of them. With those selected, let's go into key, set-driven key, and set. They've already been loaded into the driven. Let's make sure that it's all there. We're not missing out of anything. Perfect. That's good. Don't need the node editor anymore. I'm going to bring the wing A control as our driver because, again, we still need to use this wing fold as the main driver for any changes that we make with the SDK groups. As for the SDK groups, we're mainly interested in rotation. So we know that's the default pose. No need to make any changes. Let's go and set a key. Now we have a keyframe on XYZ on SDK group nodes that we created using the Python script. Next, we're going to go and set the fold to 1. I am going to ever so slightly change the viewport settings. Again, hiding the joints so I can clearly see what's going on. That's good. That's a good angle. I can totally see what's going on. Why don't I go and hide NURBS curves as well? Makes more sense to see these guys. Now, starting with section 1, again, do not follow these values if you are choosing a different model. If you're using this model, well, chances are you can actually use these values because, well, the model is identical. For the first 2 feathers, these 2 little guys here, I'm going to target only the rotate Y, and I'm going to put minus 63, somewhere along those lines. And I'm going to insert a key. For the C1, I'm going to put negative 67, again, make that change. Set a key. For D, I'm going to put -63 and set a key. Let's continue with section 2. I'm going to select all of these and let's put a value of 71 to just push them back in. That should do it. Set a key. For section 3, A01, perhaps -8. Yeah, that's not too bad. B01 is going to be 5. Set a key. Feather C is going to be 19. Let's go to D. It's going to be around 35. Yeah, that works. Set a key. And lucky last, E01. Let's put 60. Nope. 65. Nope. 55. 55 works. Key. Again, these are very, very rough. I mean, I can spend a good amount of time and look into every single one of these guys and make sure that they're correctly positioned, but it's more or less a blocking out of the wings, so everything makes sense and it kind of looks more presentable. So if I go ahead and enable this, you can see full, extended, and wing closed. Let's try it out again from this angle, perhaps. Fully extended and fold. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, now we're up to a stage where we just need to clean things up and ready for the final presentation. So visibility now can be set to off on all the look drives. Thanks to their hard work, we could easily fold the wing. That's perfect. Also, in case, this is totally optional by the way, in case if you want to have a global move for this wing, what you can do is to put these two in a group. So if I put them into one group, Control G, and call this, well, global L GRP. This is now our global move that I can sort of move the entire wing if I want to. If that's not what you want, that's totally fine. But that gives you the ability to even scale if you want without any geometry freaking out. You can kind of rotate if you want that, and of course move it up and down, left and right. It's all gonna work just fine. I can actually turn off or lock and hide the visibility, because as soon as you hide the global move, everything becomes invisible. All right, that should do the trick for this part. And with that, we successfully rigged our wing. All you need to do is just to do the same thing for the other side, and you're pretty much good to go. I hope you enjoyed this series, and it was requested by some of the folks through Patreon and even directly in the comments on YouTube. So I thought to myself, well, I've been doing some other tutorials for quite some time, so why not getting back to my comfort zone and put together this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your support. Again, I put the start and the end scene in Patreon. This is for you to support Reza if you want to, but these are all scene independent approaches where you really don't need these geometries. You just need to understand and learn the workflow, and once you get the hang of it, you can apply it and repurpose it to any geometry or any other types of wing that you have inside Autodesk Maya and successfully rig your assets. Thanks again for your support, and I hope you have a great rest of your day until the next series and the next video in Autodesk Maya. See you guys later.